I'm reminded of another quote by my lifelong musical crush, soulmate, inspiration, whatever, and that is David Bowie. And what he said was, "Tomorrow belongs to those who can hear it coming." And what I'm really, really motivated by over, in the next 20 minutes is that I'm talking with two leaders who absolutely hear tomorrow coming, and they're behaving today in a way that makes that possible. And I spent the last 2 days in fellowship with 23 amazing leaders who you should all be really proud of, really trying to determine how do we grow together as a profession. I've been in this space for a very long time. I'm marking, say, my 20th year in the higher education policy workforce space. In that time, a lot has changed, but more hasn't changed. And what I think we really need to focus on is how do we work at scale? How do we empower the leaders who are going to be in front and on this stage next year, 10 years from now, with the innovative capacity, the networks, the understanding that they're going to need to thrive. So I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I'm going to ask our fellows to stand up. Can you stand up, folks? Woo! Woo! Yay! You can find them by the very handy tan badges that they're all wearing. I'm going to encourage each of you to please connect with them because they are, as a group, one of the most inspiring, thoughtful, collegial, gracious groups of people I've ever had the privilege of working with. And weirdly, you guys can sit. Thank you. We just met about 48, 50 hours ago. And we were commenting this morning, it feels like we've been friends for years. So on Sunday afternoon, we kicked off a 9-month engagement where we're going to be meeting, working pretty consistently to grow together and build a network that will take us into the future. And this is really important because if we cast 10 years back, groups like ours didn't exist. Guild didn't exist. None of us went to college to become education and career mobility leaders. So we're making this up. We're going to fail, but we're going to fail together and fail forward. So I'm thrilled to be joined by two future thinkers, leaders, where we're going to talk about this fellowship, which is an amazing opportunity. They form half of our leadership committee, which is really designed to help keep us connected to the best thinking in the industry, to help us keep us relevant, help keep us accountable, and also, selfishly, to take advantage of some of the best minds who are thinking about this. So I'm really happy to introduce, you probably don't even need an introduction, Tamla Oates Forney, EVP and Chief Human Resource Officer at USAA, and Lo Stomski, SVP of Associate Learning and Leadership at Walmart. So thank you all.
Thank you.
And we're not joined today by two other important members, Usha Merchandani from JPMC and Darcy Hall from Providence Health. Neither could attend the summit. But while we have you here, I'm really eager to dig in with you a little bit and understand, you are really busy. In fact, you were taking meetings up until 5 minutes ago, putting out fires and making huge announcements as you did today, Tamla. And so how does the fellowship align with your many, many multiple priorities as leaders of talent and education spaces?
I'll start. So Aspen Institute, Guild Education, exceptional talent, skills of the future. Mm-hmm. Who would not want to be a part of that as an HR leader, helping to shape and mold and be a part of the next generation of HR talent is critically important. And I wish I had an opportunity like this when I was coming up. And so when I got the call to see if I wanted to be a part of it, I was like, absolutely, sign me up. And I'm expecting to get just as much as I'm giving. So thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you.
And ditto on that. And I would also say that it is such a joy to meet the 23, did you say?
Yes.
23 fellows. I had some time, we missed you yesterday, Tamla, to spend time with the group. And it is so inspiring to be able to at least provide our perspective and guidance about where we see education, and very specifically unlocking opportunity and obstacles. I think we have a lot of work to do in this country about what we think about education and learning. We heard a lot about it this morning. At Walmart, we use the tagline, all learning counts. And it's just really just wonderful position for us to be in, to help help guide or provide perspective to these great fellows.
One of the things I would add, as an HR function, we are expected to usher in the change for the rest of the organization, but it's hard to be something or usher in something that we haven't yet experienced ourselves. And so I'm really, really glad that, we're starting with our function, because there's an enormous amount of weight on us to do this for the organization. And going through this as a cohort, learning together from each other, multiple industries, is going to be so valuable for the fellows that are in the program.
Well, I'm thrilled that you shared that. One of the things I've been struck by in, being in a learning space and being able to, at the Aspen Institute with UpSkill, be a part of so many interesting conversations, is that we have this amazing, finally, focus on frontliners, which has been too long in coming, right? We've had high-po executive development for a long time. Frontliners is where we live and belong. But executives also have amazing opportunities, right? What we don't have necessarily is a lot of focus on the middle, the folks who are executing and doing and building. And so that is a really strong component of this fellowship, is empowering folks who are executing the vision on behalf of the front line and trying to build that fabric in the middle. And I think, to your point, Tamla, that's a really important space. But you've obviously come up and had a great deal of success in your roles. And I'm going to ask this question two ways, because you might have two different answers. So as you think about this next generation of talent who's coming up through the fellowship and otherwise, what is the most important thing that they need to know to intentionally create mobility? And number two, what do you wish you'd known about creating opportunity and mobility when you were in their shoes?
Shall I start? Okay. One thing that I don't think that we've really directly talked about at the conference so far, we've put the focus on our learners, which I think is brilliant, and I think that's absolutely right. But I think we forget to talk about how the role of the ecosystem around the learner unlocks the mobility. So there's tons of research that's been done about, you ask anyone, do this reflection for yourself. People ask the question, how did you get your success, or how did you get this job in this role? And I would bet 9 out of 10 in the room would say, somebody believed in me. My manager saw my potential, right? My mentor did. And I think we need to do a much better job of equipping our managers and that ecosystem to be able to say things like, I see this in you. I see your capabilities. I have this vision for you. Here's how you unlock that opportunity. Here's LBU as an example, or here's a certificate, etc. We need to do a lot more on that side. So that would be my counsel.
I think for me, I grew up probably 20 plus years in GE, and when I was growing up and growing in my career, I tried to do a lot of stuff myself. I wanted to be the hero and the person that was known to have really high say-do and be the innovator, the creator, and things like that. Boy, did it take a lot of energy to do that. But the power of the collective, you do not have to do this by yourself, and you can learn so much more from people who are either peers who are doing it at the same time as you in a different industry, mentors, sponsors, etc. Just the power of the collective. I wished I had fostered that a lot more before I got to this seat, because again, I saw asking for help as a sign of weakness, where it really is a sign of strength. And I think we have to teach people that you can learn in the flow of work, but there's so much learning that can be done amongst each other and in the cohort. So I wish I had taken advantage of that a lot sooner.
I wish we'd built it a lot sooner. And I'm reflecting so much on your questions, or your answers, which I think are really important, and speak to what the fellowship really is. This is not about coming in and sharing trade secrets. It's not about sharing secret sauce. It is about the strength and confidence and understanding you can gain by really recognizing that there are others who are struggling with the exact same challenges that you are.
Yes.
I see my fellows' heads nodding, so that makes me feel really good. There's something also to be said about the confidence that you build by looking across the table and saying, oh, I thought of that, and here's how I solved it, right? And so creating these really intentional spaces for folks to grow together, I think, is really an important factor. Really appreciate the validation. And so we have a series of KPIs because we are working with business leaders who expect nothing less. And one of the great things that I'm very much hoping for is that by the end of the fellowship, we have a very clear trajectory and movement within the fellows of their careers, their confidence, even their progression in developing great mobility programs. But I'll turn the question to you. If we are lucky enough to be sitting here in 1 year talking about reflections of our first cohort, an announcement of our second, what do you hope that we're able to announce and share?
That several of the fellows are working at USAA. I'm kidding, but
I told
really
Tamla that would be okay.
No, I want it to be a recognized learning opportunity for HR professionals that multiple people seek to gain entry to, and they are better coming out of it. And the folks that are in it will have success stories about how they were able to grow, evolve, develop, learn, and grow, and get promoted, and see themselves as a better HR professional as a result of their experience in the fellowship.
Excellent.
I think I would say that if we were standing here a year from now, that we've created a multiplier effect. And, we talk about HR, which I fully agree with, by the way, but I would want to hear from the business and for our business to say, because of all of you, your fellows, you've really influenced us, and really they're putting sort of the authentic backing behind learning, because I think we can all agree on the surface, everybody will agree and nod that learning is important, career growth, etc. But the fact is, the business wants to see tangible impact on that. So having the business be able to stand up here, not us, to say, because of the fellows, the influence, the multiplier effect that you've had, we are a stronger business with a healthy pipeline to show for it.
Love it.
I love that too. I'm very hopeful, and after the last couple days, I'm very optimistic. I should share just a little bit about how grateful we are to Guild, who not only sort of took a chance at developing something brand new in a space that has not been done before, but about doing it in such a wonderful and authentic way, where they're letting us explore questions that are broader than the Guild, platform, but are really relevant to all of our shared missions. A funny origin story. About a year ago, this program was born when me and Zoe were sitting in a Starbucks in DC, as so many programs are born that way, after coming out of a really uninspiring meeting with an organization I shall not name, where it was really myopic, limiting, really short-sighted about the impact of the transformational, using the words of our student speakers this morning, impact that these initiatives can have. And so I just want to highlight Zoe and her leadership, as well as the entire Guild team, for making this happen. And once again, to thank our fellows for everything that they contributed over the last couple days. I can say two things very, very confidently. Number one, if you are sponsoring a fellow, you should be very proud. I deal with a lot of folks, and I'm out in public spaces all the time, and to a person, they're just fantastic, amazing. And I can guarantee you in 10 years, they are going to be the ones up here on the stage. And so with that, we'll wrap. But I'm so grateful to both of you for your leadership and vision. And thank you to everybody for being a part of our journey.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congrats to our fellows.
Yeah.